Hello, thank you for taking a moment to hear a little more about the Carbon Literacy for Teachers programme that Keep Northern Ireland Beautiful now offer. My name is Scott Howes and I work in the Climate Action Department for Keep Northern Ireland Beautiful. This short video should give you a brief overview of the content of the training, the backdrop against which we're delivering it, and ways to access and book and get your teachers on board. So why do we need carbon literacy training? Well, in 2020, Stormont officially recognised the global climate emergency that we're all living in. We constantly hear regular reports of the impacts of climate change across the globe on our ecosystems and on people's lives. And the most recent report by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change was described by Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General, as an atlas of human suffering. In Northern Ireland, we hear regular calls for climate change legislation to be in place that is tailored specifically to the needs of Northern Ireland. And I am happy to say that in recent weeks, wording has been agreed for the climate change bill that will now make its way to royal assent. So the work has begun there. John Kerry, the US climate envoy, stated that our response to the climate change challenge post-COP26 held last year in Glasgow was our last best chance to avoid the worst impacts of climate change. And against this backdrop, we have a growing sense of eco-anxiety developing for our young people. Time is not on our side. Temperatures across the globe have risen by at least 1.2 degrees centigrade, and we need to act, and we can all be involved. Now, why we don't have formal climate change education embedded across the school curriculums, we're fortunate to be in a position where DERA have funded these carbon literacy training materials so that we can provide resources and information to teachers and schools to support them in the process of informing young people about the climate change world they live in and what they can do to be part of the solution. So how can the carbon literacy training materials help? They can provide information and resources to teachers to raise levels of confidence when they're teaching young people about climate change. They can provide resources that support teachers as they try to deliver the climate change module as part of the Eco Schools Green Flag Award. It provides a route to respond to young people's call for clear, honest information if they're struggling with levels of eco-anxiety. And it directs children towards action. It provides ways to be part of the solution. So how does it work? The structure of the programme involves 8 to 10 hours of learning across 4 modules. 3 of those modules have a self-study element, which is reading presentations in your own time at home. One of the modules is a support module where teachers come together to discuss and debate with colleagues about how to use the student materials that are provided in schools. At the end of the training, we provide a full set of carbon smart student materials off the shelf that teachers can pick up and use with their young people in their groups. These materials are flexible and have a modular approach so they can be adapted to the needs of your group. On completion of the training, teachers become certified through the Carbon Literacy Project and through CPD. So what does the training cover? We look at climate science, we look at climate justice issues, we focus on carbon footprints, and we move towards making an individual pledge to reduce emissions. In terms of the climate science, we look at the difference between weather and climate, we look at the greenhouse gas effect, we look at global warming, and we look at the different types of greenhouse gases in our atmosphere and their sources. In terms of climate justice, we look at different emission levels across the globe. Which countries are emitting highest levels, which countries are emitting lowest levels, and where are those impacts most significantly felt. And it's broadly true to say that countries in the global south experience the worst impacts of climate change and are the least resilient in terms of dealing with this. And we also look at vulnerable groups and marginalised groups, and in this instance, young people, those who have least power to effect change against the backdrop of this climate emergency. We then begin to focus on the role individuals and communities can play in this climate change challenge. We look at our own carbon footprints and find ways that we can reduce emissions through our own change in behaviours and individual actions. Attendees are then asked to fill out a short evidence form that we can send off to the Carbon Literacy Project for certification, and we provide guidance and advice on how to fill that form out, along with ongoing support around your pledges that you make as an individual and as a group. These programmes are funded by DERA and developed and delivered by Keep Northern Ireland Beautiful. Along the way, we've worked with the Carbon Literacy Project, who supported us in developing these programmes to an agreed high standard. If you'd like to find out more information about the programme or would like to go ahead and book, do use the link on the screen or use my email address scott.howes@keepnorthernirelandbeautiful.org to find out more.